Hello and welcome to another edition of Project SySO Game Dev Diaries. Woo! This time you don't actually only see my face. So, what have I been doing this week? Not an amazing amount. Mainly because from about Wednesday onwards I had family, friends and all sorts visiting, so I've only had really about three or so days to actually, work on it. But progress. Right. So, anyone who's actually watching this, come to YouTube, no one. I should really fix that. Oh well. Maybe one day I'll become famous and loads of people watch. It's not monetized anyway, so I won't make anything. I'd like people to watch it though. So, according to this, my calendar says Tuesday Dev Diary on the 18th. On the Wednesday before my parents came over, I started rewriting the world data, and that's because last week I said to strip back the world data because it was becoming too complex and I was having trouble integrating a save load system into it. Start rewriting that. Friday, rewriting it more, so my parents left it. Saturday, Sunday I had a family and friend visit. Monday I had some great things. Right, I can actually show you this. Gameplay. This is my little testing arena. This is sort of where I get to show off my minimum viable product, and this is sort of the first gameplay people actually see of this. Gameplay because it's like a game should be fun, right? This isn't amazingly fun right now, but it shows off the core mechanics, which will become fun later on. So if I just click play and we come in, I need to fix that pitch variable actually. What we can see is that we have in your sort of the top left corner, you have your health, which is a bar. You have your name, Jake. I can actually change that. If that's still working, I hope that's still working. I will make sure that it's still working. The main menu is a bit bleh right now, but it's prototyping. The amount of collectibles you have and the amount of collectibles within the level. And also have this ball here. This is your friend. You can control him. Simple switch of a button. He does, however, carry on rolling, which I need to fix. And what I have here is a simple... The idea of the game is that there's going to be a lot of these... It's an adventure platformer collectible-thon sort of thing. I'm going to have it so that you can pick up your little buddy, if need be. So I can go up to him and pick him up. Not implemented yet. Again, I'm the only person working on this, so, progress may seem slow, and that's because, really, it is with only one person. What we have is this button. That opens up the door. Yeah, can't get through there. However, this guy can fit through this hole. So, the obvious answer to this puzzle is you get this guy to stand by the button. Now, what we're going to have is those shaped so that it's actually sort of, he falls into it like a bowl. So, because he's mainly physics-based, I say he, it could be a she, it's going to be an amorphous blob, so you know. You walk through... And then your buddy here goes through here. So that's it's sort of just a simple test of a two-part puzzle or a two-player. It's not necessarily player, but two-pawn for this two-player works. What I have is these, which are your collectibles. Now I just walked into one. And now my collectibles have gone up. So 5 out of 8, 6 out of 8, 7 out of 8, 8 out of 8. Woohoo! Right. What I also have is pause menu. So if I go back to the main menu, I have here, I can continue, I can play the game, which right now, because I don't have any sort of like new game or whatever sort of thing, this doesn't work. This is where you set your name as well. I have delete save. If I click continue, it saved it! I have these working and they don't appear anymore. Now this is a problem I had that up until yesterday, I didn't actually have working, so I'm really happy about this. However, if I go back to the main menu and delete the saves, I had to do this because I was having a real problem debugging. What I have right now, because there's sort of no... Before I had it where I'd click, if I delete save, click play game, it wouldn't create a new save. So what I have is create instead there, create save game options. So if I just do this, you can actually see it better. Woohoo! Back. Not that that does anything. I don't actually need that. I could probably have that as a sort of a toggle, but for now it's fine. let's create a new game. Right, that should have saved the name. I'm going to click play game now. Aha, there we go. We're into it again. And now the name is Fluffy Bat. Testing out saving stuff variables, that was it. But as you can see, all these are back. So if I collect a couple of these, collectible 2, and then go back to the main menu again, and click continue, those 2 are there. Now if I exit out the game, I actually show people what's happening here. So what I have in my level, I have my save game, which is literally blank, has nothing. All it does is save all of these variables. That's it. There aren't actually that many, although that's a struct which has those in. I need to work on dynamic arrays. I don't know if dynamic arrays are possible in Blueprint. If anyone's watching and actually knows how to get dynamic arrays working in Blueprint, great. Otherwise I'm going to have to rewrite all of this in C++. And not a task I'm looking forward to. All that is saved. I have in my main menu, I have the designer of the UI. Let's have in the graph. Now the basic functionality is on click continue. It looks in my save game instance. It says what's the last level index that's chosen. Depending on level index, it loads the level. Whatever level you want. Level 2 is blank. Testing arena is the only level that loads right now. This is the only level you go to. This is the text box, so once it does that, it actually saves it, which is good. Quits, let's just quit. On click play button, so as before I didn't have this, I didn't have it where if it has to exist. If it doesn't exist, what it does is it actually creates a save game object and then save to it. Spring it'll also do that if there isn't one when it exists. Probably some functionality I'll probably change, to be honest. And also it'll enable, disable, delete saves, continue button, stuff like that. But it'll load up the testing arena as I have. In my actual level, I have this, which is essentially an object class. It's an actor that contains all of the details for this level. Now, this data struct I'm going to delete eventually. It has a default checkpoint, which currently does nothing because I'm using a player start. Has a collectible target and it has its level index. Now, so one of these must be placed in the level first before anything happens. As long as one of these is placed in the level, you're okay, as it contains all of the data you need. So what happens in this is at the start, it's a real mess. It asks, does save game exist? False, someone's fucked up, because honestly, if you're going into a level and the save game doesn't exist, you have fucked up. Like, really, everything. Every single time you go into level from the main menu, it should be, you should have a level. You should have a save game even. Right, so if it's true, it loads it from the slot, it casts to that specific save game instance, and it sets my save game instance. This allows me to use that variable, which, right there, I can use that and get, you know, something like player name. I can get that, or I can set it, you know. It sets, within the save game instance, it sets the level index. That is quite hard. This is the level index in the save game instance, and set to the same name of the variable within this called level index. This was just so that when I had level changing, it would actually work. So I found a bug. It gets your player controller, it casts to it, and it sets my current controller. Now I can't remember what I'm actually using this for. However, I will use this. Oh yeah, I know. Later on. Right, and this is where it starts getting a bit more complex. What it does is it gets all actors of class BP base collectible, which are those little square boxes on the ground. These, they're base collectible. It gets all actors of that class. It then has an array of that, gets the last index. Now we have something of the same variable type. It resizes that array to everything plus 1 because obviously indexes start at 0. So if you have one that just resizes it, it will actually be one less after plus 1. And it does the same with collectible state array. I'm using these as parallel arrays. So if you access index 0 in this, the corresponding index 0 in this will actually relate to that, so parallel arrays. What I then do is loop through this array and set the other array. So I'm basically getting everything from the level and I'm setting it within this class. It's important. What I do, I also have a debug counting function, which simply just says gets the array index of this, gets the collectible value from it, and adds it to debug collectible and sets collectible. A plus B equals A. That's how that works, and that's the debug. That's where I get the number 8 from, because the collectible target for this level is actually 100. And it does that for each loop. And what it does is set the debug value for HUD calls. I probably should be doing custom bindings for the HUD, so I don't have to set up a text variable each time. Load data from save game, which is another function, and then it looks at it and compares it with the collectible target. Now it says debug thing. I will eventually delete this, but if it's greater than, it does whoops check your collectibles. Basically, for me, that says to me, you've added too many in. You need to change something, you need to delete some values or whatever. Collectibles equal debug. This is what I want to see in the final production level. I want to see this. And this is still need to add more collectibles. Basically says you haven't added enough stuff based on your target, so either I need to change my target if I think I'm happy with the amount of collectibles in the level, which is just going to be sort of debug by eye. I'm going to look at it and go, is that the right amount? It's going to be a fairly round number each time, but I sort of will be able to change it. And collectibles each debug, that's what I want. So eventually this execution won't happen. Players don't need to see that. Load data from save game is where all my loading goes on. So first thing it does is gets the save game instance, gets the main character's health, sets the health from the current controller based on the body of the head. This is based on the idea it's going to have your own head pop off. Don't know if I'm going with that, not too sure. And then sets their health based on what's been saved. Now nowhere so far do I have it actually saving, but it's there. Currently the default's set to 10, which is what they are anyway, and I've got nothing that damages you, all part of implementation. Gets the player name for save game instance, sets player name. That's fine, and and the HUD actually looks at that as a binding for any of that changes. What it then does is get current collected amount. So that's the the amount in your HUD that you've currently collected within the level. And what it does here, because in save games, there's an array within the save game, which each item in the array corresponds to a level. So this is where I use level index to get that level index and set that. I then use a set for a text as a debug. Again, custom bindings will sort that. A collectible state array, last index, resizes it. Now, what that is resizing is actually this, which is the save game instance's collectible state array. This is where I need dynamic arrays, because I want basically a way to say, based on level index, select this. Now there is a select node, however that only takes 2 options. I want multiple ones. I really want multiple ones. However, it's not working. It's not in Blueprint. I might have C++. And what that does is go through it, and it asks, is collectible state array? Sets that. It basically, what it does is set everything in that array to be equal to that array. It also, when it looks through each one, from the index, it gets the same object in there, and from the array element, it asks, is it equal to 2 in the collectible state array? If it is, destroy it. And that's basically the way I say, if it's being collected, it deactivates. Now what I do when I collect it, if I come down here, this section here, which is an event dispatcher, interface messenger, I think. Interface event, that's the one. And this is called from the collectible itself, and it outputs the value of the collectible and itself, like the object it is. What I do is I find that within the collectible object array, and in the state array, at the parallel index, I set its state to be whatever deactivate I do, which is 2. It weirdly wasn't working when I set it to 1, although it might be due to other issues, I'm not too sure. I do the same within the save game instance. Then that's what I'm doing. In the load, what I'm doing is I'm setting that to be whatever that is, not the other way around. I then add the value a plus b equals a again, sort of incrementing value. And based on the level index, in that's where the current collectible is set that, and it displays that. And that's it. And this is just some debug that we're printing out, so I had some issues with it. But that's where I am so far. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. I'm actually almost to the point where I'm like, this is almost a minimum viable product. What I need is a lose state, so I need something that damages me, and I've got the win state, which is collectible, collect all the collectibles. I need checkpointing in, because currently it saves every time you touch a collectible, and I'm not sure I want that. I maybe would rather have it where you have to get to a checkpoint first before you save. This is sort of similar to Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, that sort of things. So yeah, this is where I am. I'm quite happy. So I'm thinking I've got one more week really before I start my new job. I'm going to do art style, so hopefully next week you should see some first sort of art styling tests from me. Again, this is like not even close to alpha. This is this isn't even like in dev, as it were, which is a Minecraft reference. It's very much prototyping, so everything can change and probably will change, including everything in Blueprint being rewritten in C++. Oh, that's going to be fun. Until then, enjoy. It's been an extra long, bloody hell, 17 minutes. Yeah, till then, do enjoy, and ciao.